One song made them famous, but that same song also trapped them in obscurity. In the 1960s, these artists exploded onto the radio, marked a generation, and then disappeared after one unforgettable hit. Today, we explore the 10 most famous one-hit wonders of the 1960s. How many do you remember? Let's begin. Number 10. Spirit in the Sky, Norman Greenbaum. By the end of the 1960s, when psychedelia had already exploded, a song appeared that nobody saw coming. Spirit in the Sky. Norman Greenbaum, a thick-bearded Californian, wrote the lyrics in just 15 minutes after watching a television program where a country singer performed a gospel hymn. That was how this unusual cocktail of fuzz rock, gospel, and boogie was born, with a powerful, distorted riff and backing vocals that sounded as if they had stepped out of a southern church. Released in late 1969, Spirit in the Sky took off in 1970. It reached number 1 in several countries, sold millions of copies, and gave Greenbaum royalties for decades. But sadly, he never repeated the miracle. His next single, Canned Ham, came and went with little notice. By 1972, with no record deal and no clear direction, he stepped away from music. A shooting star, reminding us that sometimes a single song is enough to touch the sky and remain there, shining every time it plays again. Number 9. 96 Tears, ? And the Mysterians. With a Farfisa organ riff and just a handful of chords, 96 Tears became an unexpected anthem in 1966. Born in a Michigan basement, it was created by young Mexican-American musicians led by the enigmatic ? Who legally changed his name to that symbol. Originally titled Too Many Teardrops, the song changed names during rehearsals and became a key piece of garage rock. Released on a local label, its regional success conquered the country. In October of '66, 96 Tears reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and placed ? and the Mysterians in history as pioneers of Latin rock and forerunners of punk. Their formula was simple but effective: a hypnotic organ melody, a direct lyric of heartbreak, and a raw performance that sounded as if it had come from a dusty garage. None of their other songs replicated that first blow. 96 Tears still sounds like the rebellious spark that anticipated a real sonic revolution. 96 Tears. Number 8. San Francisco, Scott McKenzie. Summer of 1967, thousands of young people crossed the United States toward California, hoping to find a new world made of peace, love, and music. And in the background, a song guided them like a beacon. San Francisco by Scott McKenzie. Written by John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas, the song was composed in barely 20 minutes as an invitation to the Monterey Pop Festival, but it became the unofficial anthem of the hippie movement. With a gentle melody and Scott McKenzie's calm voice, San Francisco whispered a promise of flowers, peace, and gentle souls waiting in California. More than a ballad, it was peaceful protest, a breath of hope in the Vietnam War era. Its impact was immediate and global. It reached number 4 in the United States, number 1 in the United Kingdom, Germany, Ireland, New Zealand, and sold millions of copies. But Scott McKenzie never repeated that success. But this song is a capsule of hope that still reminds us every time we hear it that one day we believed a different world was possible, full of peace, love, and, yes, flowers in our hair. Number 7. Dirty Water, The Standells. In 1966, California kids recorded a song about a city they barely knew and created the most unlikely anthem in rock history. Dirty Water by the Standells. Formed in Los Angeles by Larry Tamblyn, their name came from hours waiting for gigs. They signed with Tower Records and met Ed Cobb, mugged on a bridge over the Charles River in Boston. That experience became the fuel for Dirty Water. The Standells took Cobb's blues and transformed it into something raw and dangerous, with fuzz guitar and Dick Dodd's sneering vocal delivery. It reached number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became tied to Boston when the Red Sox adopted it as a true victory anthem. But behind that triumph was a bitter truth. The Standells never received songwriting credit. Dirty Water is more than a sports anthem. It is the sound of a band that helped invent garage rock and proto-punk, only to watch the credits slip through their fingers like the dirty water itself. Number 6. Green Tambourine, the Lemon Pipers.
My green tambourine.
In the final months of 1967, when psychedelia was still vibrating and pop searched for its next formula, a song emerged that mixed everything together. Green Tambourine by the Lemon Pipers. It was colorful, playful, and lysergic, with electric sitars, psychedelic echoes, and floating strings. Beneath that experimental gloss, there was a melody easy to hum. Written by Paul Lika and Shelley Pins, the song told the story of a street musician playing tambourine for coins, inspired by a real scene on the streets of New York. Released in November of '67, it reached number 1 in the United States in February of '68 and sold more than 1 million copies. It was the first major hit for Buddha Records. But behind the shine, there was frustration. The Lemon Pipers wanted to be a serious psychedelic rock band, not a bubblegum machine. Today, Green Tambourine is a symbol of 1960s duality, art and marketing, freedom and formula, color and disillusion.
Watch the jingle jangle start to shine.
Number 5. In the year 2525, Zager and Evans. In 1969, while the world looked up as mankind reached the moon, a song from Nebraska forced us to look ahead, and not exactly with hope. In the year 2525 was the work of Zager and Evans, an unknown duo who achieved massive success with a dark prophecy. With guitars and a somber organ, it imagined a future where technology replaces the soul and humanity slowly disappears. Rick Evans wrote it in 1964, but it exploded at the height of the space race. As Apollo 11 reached the moon, the song spent 6 weeks at number 1 in the United States. In an era torn between progress and fear, this sung dystopia became an unexpected anthem. But the miracle was never repeated. Their next song, Mr. Turnkey, was almost ignored. In 1971, the duo broke up, earning a place among one-hit wonders. Even so, their warning remained. Because every time that apocalyptic echo plays, you cannot help but wonder, what if we really are heading toward that 2525?
Some machine doing that for you in the year.
Number 4. Little Bit of Soul, the Music Explosion. In 1967, while the British invasion ruled airwaves, a Mansfield garage band took a song by British writers and made it their own. Little Bit of Soul by the Music Explosion. The band started as The Chosen Few, playing gigs around Ohio, until Castanets and Cats gave them a name that sounded like dynamite. Their version, driven by Burton Stahl's bass riff and Jamie Lyons' vocal, shot to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on Record World. It went gold, selling over 1 million copies. For a moment, it looked like they might escape the one-hit wonder trap. But the follow-ups never clicked. Sunshine Games scraped the charts, and the rest disappeared. Jamie Lyons joined Capital City Rockets, but the magic was gone. Their one moment of glory lives on. The Ramones and Tom Petty covered Little Bit of Soul. When your song is cool enough for Joey Ramone and Tom Petty to sing, you did something right. A little bit of soul turned out to be just enough. Number 3. Pushin' Too Hard, The Seeds. In 1966, while Sunset Strip burned with psychedelic energy, a band emerged from Los Angeles that sounded like nothing else. The Seeds and their dangerous anthem, Pushin' Too Hard. Fronted by Sky Saxon, who had tried and failed as a doo-wop singer under Richie Marsh, the Seeds were pure attitude. Daryl Hooper played bass lines on his keyboard, freeing Saxon to prowl the stage, preaching love and chaos. Pushin' Too Hard was recorded in just 2 takes at United Western Recorders, and when re-released in 1966, it later climbed to number 36. The song was so raw and confrontational that radio stations banned it, thinking it was about drug dealing, but it was about refusing to be pushed around. Iggy Pop called them an influence. Sky Saxon died in 2009, the same day as Michael Jackson. Pushin' Too Hard remains a cornerstone of garage rock, a proto-punk blast that proved one song could be enough to change the DNA of rock and roll forever. Number 2. Talk Talk, The Music Machine. In late 1966, while Top 40 radio played Safe and Pretty, a band from Los Angeles dropped a single so aggressive it sounded like a threat. Talk Talk by The Music Machine. Sean Bonnewell, a folk singer who had shared a ride with Roger McGuinn, formed the band from the Ragamuffins. They dressed in black, every member wore a single black glove, and their instruments were painted black. The image was as striking as the sound. Talk Talk was recorded fast at RCA Studios, a grinding 2-note fuzz riff with Bonnewell snarling about alienation like a man with nothing left to lose. It reached the top 20, and for a moment, it looked like The Music Machine might be the future of rock. But the industry had other plans. Their manager owned the band's name and paid almost nothing. By the end of 1967, the members had scattered. 1 minute and 56 seconds of pure garage psychedelia that proved dangerous sounds often come from unexpected places. Number 1. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, Iron Butterfly. In 1968, psychedelia reached its densest point. A California band broke every rule with a song that seemed endless. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida by Iron Butterfly. It lasted 17 minutes, took up an LP side, and sounded hypnotic, raw, and heavy. The title was born from a glorious misunderstanding. In the Garden of Eden, mispronounced over drinks by Doug Ingle, became In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, and that is how it stayed. Over a repetitive bass and guitar riff, the song launched into an odyssey with organ, guitar fuzz, and a long drum solo of the era. It barely had lyrics, but did not need them. It reached the top 30, but the real impact came from the album, which sold over 4 million copies in the United States and stayed on the charts for 140 weeks. Because In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida was not just a song, it was an acid trip to a mispronounced Garden of Eden engraved in rock history. Decades later, it rumbles and reminds us one track can touch infinity. And now tell me, how old were you? And what were you doing when you discovered these musical gems? Tell me in the comments. We'll read them.